Sharry Allen is a breast cancer survivor after being diagnosed on December 8, 2016. Not only is she a survivor, she will be sharing her journey to freedom and educating us on how to take care of the girls before the fight. Hello Beautiful 2019. Please help us welcome educating and equipping before the fight speaker, Sharry Allen Epuips.
Hello. Hello, beautiful. Hi, I'm Sharry Allen, and I bring you greetings from Suffolk, Virginia. Uh, when Shannon called me last year and asked me to do this for last year, I was like, okay. I've never shared my story in front of a lot of people besides my church members and the people who knew me from Virginia. So I was like, okay, what am I do? Do I say no? Do I say yes? What? So I decided to say yes. I went to my pastor, and of course she said, pray about it. I prayed about it, and God showed me that day what I was born to do. I've never been a public speaker, but I'm a friendly person. I'll smile and speak to anybody. Hug her, that's me. So when Shannon asked me, I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll get the destiny and, do my thing. And when she canceled it, I was like, I can't share my story. This is my gift. I want to inspire. I want to educate women on breast cancer, on their body, on listening to your body. So when she said it was back on this year, I said, okay, yeah, I'm ready. So needless to say, I'm here. But first, let me tell you my story. I founded Pinkure because where I'm from in Suffolk, Virginia, it is the #1 city in Virginia for African-American women to have breast cancer under the age of 55. I'm not 55, I'm 47. But they did a study, and a lot of the women in Portsmouth, Virginia, and Suffolk, Virginia, had breast cancer within the last 5 years, at least 20, under the age of 50. So it made me want to educate women about self-breast exam, self-check, know your body, and that's how Pinkure came about. So I'm going to share my story. Cancer. Cancer is a word that conjures up emotions such as fear, uncertainty, despair, and helplessness. It is a word that makes even the strongest person feel vulnerable. 2 years ago, tomorrow, December 8th, I heard those words that changed my life forever. I have been taking care of myself, exercising, teaching dance fitness classes. I teach Zumba, Misfits, Box Master, yoga. But then I asked myself, how could I get cancer? It didn't run in my family. So how? Why? Well, in September 2016, I was here visiting my mom for my cousin's funeral. And I decided to do a breast exam out the blue. Never really did them. And at first, I was rubbing, touching, doing the regular monthly self-exam, and I felt a little lump. So I wasn't sure what it was because the doctor had already told me I had dense breasts. So when I got back home to Virginia, I decided to go to the doctor and get my yearly mammogram, which I have been getting mammograms since the age of 25 because they said I had dense breasts. So mind you, we were stationed in Hawaii, didn't have family, nobody besides my husband and kids, and the doctor wanted to do a biopsy 10 years ago. Did the biopsy, came back negative. Again, he said it was dense breast. So when I went to the doctor, she was like, well, Ms. Allen, I'm going to tell you this. If you have breast cancer, no, she said, I don't think you have breast cancer because if you do, your breast is not going to hurt. First myth. She scheduled me a mammogram and an ultrasound. While I was getting the ultrasound, the radiologist asked me, was my mammogram negative last year? And I told him, yes. They didn't say anything was wrong with it. He said, well, I compared your last year's mammogram to your this year's mammogram, and he said, you had a lump on there last year. So I said, okay, what's the next step? He said, well, we're going to do a biopsy. So he did the biopsy, and it took 2 weeks for my insurance, which is military, to approve it. My husband had retired by then. It took them 2 weeks to approve it. So for 2 weeks, I wandered around moping in my own sorrow until the day I went in and got the biopsy. And the doctor came in, and he said, we'll give you the results back within a week. The week came up. My son, my youngest son was in his first year of college. It was their first winter break. So I went to I was like, okay, I'm going to go by myself. It's going to be negative. Cancer don't run in my family. And my husband said, okay, well, just call me when you're finished, and we'll just go pick up my son. I went to the appointment. The doctor came in with a box of tissue. I immediately broke down. He didn't have to say anything. I laid there on the table, and it took me about 30 minutes to get myself together because I literally cried. I cried like a baby. I was like, this can't be me. This cannot be me. He said, well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is it's treatable. You caught it early. The bad news is I can't say it's not going to return. He said, you have a really rare type of breast cancer that's not seen in a lot of African-American women. And I looked at him and I said, well, I'm sorry, but he said, are you mixed with any other ethnic background? I said, no, not to my knowledge. I think I'm just African-American. He was like, well, I think you're mixed with something else. So they went in and did my, it's a test. They test you, it's called a BRCA test. And they test you to see the relations to the cancer that you have. And it came back, and he said, well, I just want to inform you that you have stage 1B medullary carcinoma triple negative. And I said, triple negative? He said, yeah, which means your body can't fight off hormones. Therefore, you're at a higher rate of it coming back. I said, the devil is a lie. It's not coming back here. I said, we're not claiming that. I said, that's what you're going to say, but we're not claiming that. So after I did all of that, they scheduled me to have chemo. I did my chemo. I had 5 rounds of chemo. And at each round, I got sicker and sicker. I got to the point where I couldn't swallow. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do the things I normally do. And by trade, I am a hairdresser. I am a cosmetologist, a master cosmetologist. So I could not see myself living like this. So at that point, I felt like I had to fight. I had to fight with every strength, every fiber in my life. So I started fighting. I started getting up. I started telling myself, I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. I got this. I got this. I got this. So for the next 3 to 6 months, I didn't know what was going to happen. Only thing I knew is that God had cured me. I was already cured. I was already healed. I didn't have to wait for him to tell me I was healed. I knew it. I felt it in my body. I started doing things that I used to do. And then all of a sudden, he came back and he was like, Miss Allen, I just want to tell you this. I have not seen no one fight as hard as you. He said, you have been kicking cancers behind like I don't know what. You come into chemo with a smile on, your makeup on, your eyelashes on, your eyebrows done, your hair did. Even when you was bald, you still represented yourself well. I said, that's just me. I refuse to let cancer defeat me. I refuse to let it beat me. And when you're going through things in life, that's how you got to act. When the devil comes up against you, you have to say, you're not going to defeat me. I am not going to be defeated. I am strong. I am mighty. I am beautiful. So, and I kept asking myself, I'm clear that cancer did not happen to me. It happened for me. I was created with purpose, on purpose, to fulfill purpose. Cancer just happened to be part of my purpose. 1 in 8 women would get breast cancer diagnosed. I represent the 1. However, cancer messed with the wrong chick. So I have a second slideshow that's going to talk about educating and preventing. I'm going to wait for technical difficulty. Are we ready for the next one? How y'all feeling out there today? I'm so glad to be here, be back home in Atlanta. I hardly ever get here, but I'm glad to be back. I don't think it's up yet. Well, I'm going to start without it. Early detection of breast cancer. Breast cancer is often, let's see. We ain't clicking. Okay. Breast cancer is detected often after symptoms appear. However, many women with breast cancer have no symptoms. There we go. Because of this, a regular breast cancer screening is vital. Here are some few ways to check for breast cancer: clinical breast exam, self-monthly breast exams, a mammogram, further imaging testing, and a biopsy and lab tests with breast tissue. Annual screenings are instrumental in early detection of breast cancer. Doctors recommend that women have their regular clinical breast exams and mammograms, which aid in detecting breast cancer in early stages. Women in their 20s and 30s should have clinical breast examinations during their yearly physical. At the age of 40, women with average breast cancer risk typically begin annual mammograms. It is important to remember that not all breast cancers are found through mammograms. Although you should get your physician to perform a breast examination annually as part of your well-woman checkup. It is important that you maintain a routine habit of monthly self-examinations. If you feel a lump in your breast tissue, contact your physician to schedule an examination to determine whether other tests or biopsies are required. Those who detect breast cancer early have a 98% survival rate. Be proactive and practice self-monthly breast exams. When you are regularly examining your breasts, you become familiar with how they look, how they feel, and you are more likely to recognize the changes. When performing your monthly examinations, you need to look for any changes or irregularities in your breast. Here, have you noticed any of these changes in your breast under your arm area? Lumps, knots, swelling, pain, redness, itching, dimpling, puckering, discharge, size, or shape. Remember, your role in self-examination can diagnose breast cancer because mine did. Your monthly self-examination should not take the place of your annual well-woman checkup, but it should be performed in addition to any other to improve your chances of an early breast cancer diagnosis, treatment, and cure. The stages of breast cancer. Understanding the stages of breast cancer is one of the most important factors in determining cancer. Stage cancer may involve blood tests and other tests. Stage 0, there's no evidence of cancer cells spreading out the part of the breast in which they start or of getting through to the invading neighboring normal tissue. Stage 1, the tumor measures up to 2 centimeters and no lymph nodes are involved. Stage 2, invasive breast cancer. The tumor measures between 2 to 5 centimeters, or the cancer has spread it to the lymph nodes under the arm or on the same side of the breast. Stage 3, locally advanced breast cancer. The tumor in the breast is more than 2 inches in diameter across the cancer, and the cancer is extensive in the underarm lymph nodes or has spread to any other lymph nodes or tissues near the breast. Stage 4, metastatic breast cancer. The cancer has spread it beyond the breast, underarm, and internal mammary lymph nodes to other parts of the body around the distant from the breast. Now, there are 7 ways to maintain a healthy mind. When you're dealing with breast cancer, you need a support system. You have to have a support system. Sometimes the support system does not come in your family. It comes in someone who's went through what you've gone through. One of the things I found out when I was fighting, I had to find someone who had went through what I went through, because seeking out help from my friends and family did not help me. Honestly, it did not help me, because they could not understand what I was feeling when I was going through, because they had not gone through it. So I had to find someone to talk to who I can trust. I had to reach out to a therapist. And I'm not ashamed to say I had to seek out a therapist, because when we're growing up, I was brought up to not tell my business outside the house. So it took me a minute to decide to talk to a therapist, because I thought I was going to look like I was crazy. I thought it was going to look like, people was going to judge me. Why is she seeing a therapist? She's a strong person. We see her smiling, running around here, jumping around town. But she's not strong. I felt people was going to look at me like I wasn't strong. And at that point, I didn't care. It got to the point where I just did not care. I had to take care of me and nobody else. So I had to learn to put me first and not worry about anybody else. So 7 ways to a healthy mind is to get plenty of sleep, eat nutrition and healthy diet, exercise regularly, find joy in helping others, get involved within your community, treat yourself and others with kindness, make time to do things you love. Your body will undoubtedly go through many changes and at times will feel foreign to you. Staying healthy and making wise nutritional decisions will help you feel more like yourself throughout your diagnosis. Check out your healthy lifestyle. Change your lifestyle. Maintain a well balance. Making good nutritional choices is one of the best defense against any illness, along with breast cancer. Now, taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health when it comes to preventing an illness, including breast cancer. If you have recently been diagnosed or know someone who has been diagnosed, it is extremely important to maintain a positive spirit during their diagnosis. Being a support system. Everyone handles breast cancer differently, but it is important to be as supportive as possible. It may be difficult for a loved one to ask you for help or even talk about their diagnosis. Offering practical help is the best way to make things easier on your loved one. Here are a few ways that you can be supportive. Educate yourself on their cancer diagnosis. Support their decision when it comes to treatment, even if you don't feel it's right, even if you don't agree with it. Some people choose not to have chemo. Some people choose to have the holistic treatment. Please support their decision, because ultimately it is their decision. Include them in your normal daily activity to help with their sense of normalcy. Prepare meals for them daily. Call them. Run errands for them. Even pick up their prescriptions. Send a thoughtful note. Send a thoughtful text. Here are some positive quotes that was given to me by another survivor. These quotes are not just for cancer, but they are for everyday life. Cancer is not a word, it is a sentence. Cancer is a word, not a sentence. Every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day. God is in control, and his timing is perfect. Will it be easy? No. Worth it? Absolutely. She believed she could, so she did. For every mountain, there is a miracle. Once you choose hope, anything is possible. I am too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful, and too determined to be defeated. You have been assigned this mountain so you can show others how to move it. You are allowed to scream, you are allowed to cry, but don't give up. Courage doesn't always roar. It is the little voice within that says, I will try again. Just know you are beautiful. She stood in the storm, and when the wind didn't blow her way, she adjusted her sail. Keep your head up. God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. I am Sharry Allen, a breast cancer survivor. Thank you.